Joining us now to talk more about some of the legal moves ahead is Tulsa attorney Clark Brewster. Good morning.
Good morning.
Thanks for joining us. Let's just start off with the jury not being able to reach a decision. How unusual is that for them to deadlock and throw it back to the judge?
Well, it's not unusual to have a deadlocked jury or a hung jury in cases where there are issues that can cause parties to have very strong feelings. And you could tell that this jury was very liable to have that kind of result by virtue of the very compromised decision that came out in the first stage of the trial.
So some very strong feelings there. They weren't able to agree, perhaps even on the guilt phase.
Oh, that's clear. I mean, I think that there was a verdict that most people would view in special light as being somewhat inconsistent, and there was some compromises going on with these jurors, and the fact that they couldn't agree in this stage is not surprising. And what happens sometimes when you have a bifurcated two-stage trial like this is that in the first decision-making process, some of the jurors build alliances and make compromises based upon maybe compromises occurring in the second stage. And based upon some of the descriptions and the reactions of some of the jurors as the days went on here, it's pretty clear that there was a good deal of dissension.
Let's move forward to February 9th, the date that has been set for the hearing before Judge Mage. What takes place then?
Well, what's going to happen between now and February 9th is there's going to be a series of motions filed by each side, I'm sure, trying to line out for the judge what each side thinks his role is going to be in the sentencing phase in dealing with this kind of deadlock issue. And then on February 9th, I assume he will hear arguments and then set a sentencing date whereupon he will sentence Terry Nichols. I should say this, and that is, people shouldn't lose hope. The system is going to work here. The fact that these 12 jurors couldn't make a decision means that the next step occurs where Judge Mage will make the decision. So a sentence is going to be delivered. It's probably going to be a very harsh sentence, and justice will occur.
But some people did want the death penalty, and under the law, Judge Mage cannot levy the death sentence. So what would the maximum punishment be that he could hand down?
As I understand the charges that the jury returned, or the convictions that the jury returned in this instance, Terry Nichols is very likely to receive a life sentence or very close to that.
Because he cannot receive parole.
Right. And in the federal system, parole is not a term. You serve a certain set of months based upon the sentencing guidelines. And as you mentioned, death is not an option for Judge Mage at this point.
However, if we do go forward with trials on the state level, could a jury in Oklahoma reach a verdict that would lead to the death sentence here in the state level?
Yes, they could. I think there would be a great deal of legal maneuvering and argument with regard to double jeopardy attaching by virtue of the decision in Denver. But we saw in the Rodney King trial, for example, where the persons that inflicted a beating upon him were acquitted in one stage and then convicted in the federal stage. So that could happen in this instance.
All right. Attorney Clark Brewster, thanks for joining us this morning with your comments about this latest development in the Terry Nichols case.